Many of our viewers want to know where you stand on the legalization of marijuana, either for recreational use or medical use. On our Facebook page, Mike and Opal Wilson asked, why is alcohol and packing firearms legal when recreational marijuana is not? Given the potential for medical benefits and tax revenues, tell us your view. We'll begin with Mr. Bruner with 90 seconds.
Well, I'm against the legalization of marijuana. It's all about jobs. It's about getting this economy back on track. It's about electing a business person as CEO of Governor of Missouri who understands intrinsically how to get the job done. And I've done this for over 30 years, and we have a huge opportunity here. Yes, are there merits in medical marijuana for people that are suffering? Of course, and that needs to be researched and carefully thought out. But the big issue, and governments are always looking for revenue sources. They don't understand if you grow the economy, if you add jobs, if you bring businesses back to the state, if you have a vision of Missouri being the distribution hub of America, the idea that our agriculture products are going to double in demand over the next couple decades, that manufacturing has a huge opportunity here in terms of distribution, that the expansion and development of the Panama Canal is going to make the Mississippi River even more viable, and getting the distribution off our roads and on our riverways. These are the real issues in terms of helping our economy and finding more revenues for the state of Missouri.
Mr. Kinder.
I'm on record as having supported medical marijuana when it is under a doctor's prescription for a terminally ill patient or one who's suffering from severe pain. As to the question of legalizing recreational use, it was close to 100 years ago that Mr. Justice Frankfurter of the U.S. Supreme Court said the states are the laboratories of democracy between the central government, the federal government, and the states. And so we have experimentation in the states, and we're able to learn from both good and bad examples. I would cite everyone listening to the example of Colorado. You can read all about it, but know one thing. The Democratic governor of Colorado today, Mr. Hickenlooper, has said that that legalization step they took a few years ago was a mistake. It was a mistake. I think we ought to be very cautious about going down that road. I want to say also about the exchange that occurred earlier, Eric, what the man has already admitted to have caused his former business associates to sever ties with him. John Kasich did the honorable stand-up thing of giving back the money within a few hours of hearing about it.
Your time is up, and Mr. Greitens, you have 30 seconds to respond.
Yeah, I won't need 30 seconds. I think, Peter, you're the last person on this stage, sir, who should be trafficking in tabloid stories about men hanging out in strip clubs.
And Mr. Kinder, you also now have 30 seconds to respond.
What your $1 million donor has admitted to, it really raises the question of who are these billionaires donating 6- and 7-figure sums to try to buy the governor's mansion in Missouri for a guy who was a Democrat about 18 months ago. A guy who says he's a conservative outsider. The only thing he's an outsider to is the conservative movement and the Republican Party in the state of Missouri. You've not been in any of these battles that we've been fighting for conservative causes.
Back to marijuana.
I'm sorry, I'm going to respond, Jim. No, Jim, I'm going to respond because I've been attacked. Yeah, and Peter said I haven't been part of any of these battles. I'm very proud of my service in Southeast Asia, in the Horn of Africa, in Iraq, in Afghanistan, and while you have been playing politics as a career politician, I was out on the field of battle happily defending our Constitution that I took an oath to defend.
Catherine, we'll get to you in a second. Didn't you go to the Democratic National Convention with former Governor Bob Holden?
Yes.
Jim, look,
Yes.
Jim, I've been very clear. I was born and raised a Democrat. My parents were Democrats. I was taught in 3rd grade, I think, that Harry Truman was the greatest president who'd ever lived. I'm a conservative because of the things that I've actually done. Running my own business, serving in the military, watching, Jim, as the government bureaucracy hurt my friends who came home. I am a conservative by conviction, and that's why I'm very proud of every day that I've lived.
Marijuana use.
Likely this won't come as a surprise to anyone, but because I was a prosecutor and prosecuted case after case where drugs had ruined the home lives, the families, the communities where they were being dealt, I oppose the legalization of marijuana, certainly for recreational purposes, and today I oppose it for the legalization for medical purposes, but I'm open to seeing more science. Look, addiction is a terrible problem. We all provides not only for a safer Missouri, but for a better Missouri going forward.